Hey guys, MTG Moxman here. Coming up next is Urza's lore video part 2 as promised. Lore is awesome and Urza is so important he gets 2 parts. It's coming up next. Hey guys, welcome back. MTG Moxman here. Tonight we're doing our second part of the lore video as promised. We're going to have a little bit of action going on here with Urza. He's a big important character in the Magic universe. And what we're going to show first, from the last video, you remember he's all mad. He's upset. He's just become a planeswalker. He has devastated the Argoth area of the world. He's destroyed the armies of his brother. He's become a planeswalker. He sees what Phyrexia has done to his brother, converting him to this big mechanical machine thing that he had to fight and kill. And now we lead off with this. You're going to see Urza here through the ages. One where he's in Argoth, one in Phyrexia and Serra, Teleria and Shiv. Now what you understand from these pictures, guys, you see him as an old man before he becomes a planeswalker. Planeswalker who becomes young, then he lets himself get a little bit older for Teleria, and then he's young again in Shiv. Now, this is kind of weird, right? But you have to understand, at this point in Magic history, this is called pre-mending. So this is before all the time rifts happened, before they were all closed. By the way, he starts the first time rifts, just so you know. The real ones, anyway, the big ones. So what ends up happening is, at this point, planeswalkers can do almost anything. They're gods. They don't even have to die if they don't want to die. That's how hard they are to kill if you don't take out their spark. So somebody like Urza, although you can hurt him, you really can't kill him in any practical sense, unless he feels like dying. And that isn't very normal for a planeswalker, is it? So he's very upset. He's angry at the Phyrexians. And he decides, right? So, knowing what's happened to his brother, he declares vengeance on them. He creates a giant machine dragon. He goes to the plane of Phyrexia. He takes this dragon and he punches a hole. Now, Phyrexia is like a giant mechanical world, right? It's an artificial plane created by some unknown planeswalker a long time ago, and Yawgmoth keeps it alive. He somehow anchored himself to this plane of existence. And he controls everything within that planet. So when Urza attacks, of course, Yawgmoth's not happy, because basically Urza's burning holes through the existence of that plane with this dragon thing, this giant mechanical dragon. And he's burning holes through the spheres, the inner spheres of the planet. He gets to the 4th sphere, and then Yawgmoth becomes enraged, comes out and basically challenges this petty mortal, planeswalker boy, to a battle. Urza loses horribly. He's driven insane by what Yawgmoth shows him in his brain. Yawgmoth's like, ah, and Urza's like, ah, and basically he goes insane. So, at that point, Urza is forced to flee. He runs. And he's hopping from plane of existence to plane of existence, trying to get away from the Phyrexians, and he's doing it so quickly, he's losing them. Remember, the Phyrexians have conquered countless other worlds. They've done huge damage to other planes of existence. They just can't get to Dominaria. They can go to other planes, they just can't go there. So eventually, what ends up happening is Urza lands in the realm of Serra. Okay? He lands on this peaceful realm. Serra's realm is created by this planeswalker, Serra. My favorite planeswalker, by the way. And he lands there and sees like everything's basically idyllic, right? It's perfect. There's people living there. There's knights and soldiers who protect everyone. But there's no battles going on. There's beautiful angels flying through the sky. And it's all created by this planeswalker, Serra. Now, Serra lives in a castle you'll see pictured there called the Serra's Sanctum. And it has all these mirrors and eyeglasses. She can actually control the entire realm of existence by looking through these portals at the same time. When she sees that Urza arrives, she goes to him, has a discussion with him, heals him of his wounds. Remember, she's pure white mana, right? She's a mana, and she's all about nurturing and stuff. I'm not saying she can't be vengeful, but generally speaking from the histories, she's a super, like, nice lady, okay? She doesn't want to duke it out. She doesn't have to with anybody. She can. She chooses not to. Again, pre-mending planeswalker. Could be, like, incredibly tough. So, for years, Urza stays here. He heals himself. He prepares for the coming battle to go against the Phyrexians. Now, he leaves the plane in peace, okay? He knows they're hunting him, but he leaves. Like, there's no war here. He leaves. Then what ends up happening is he returns home to Dominaria, and a person he had met before, which isn't really mentioned that much, that's Exija. She's a Phyrexian double agent who he kind of befriends when the portal originally closes and there's no way for the Phyrexians to get back. There's no reason for her, so she's not evil anymore. That's Exija you see there, and there's different images of her you see on your screen. But you have to understand, she doesn't want the Phyrexians to take over this planet now. She likes it here. She thinks it's cool. So she gets an air guy called Ratap. Ratap looks like Urza's brother. And basically she introduces him to Ratap. They have a conversation. It snaps Urza out of his lethargy, like what he's thinking. And he's like, oh my god, I wasn't doing anything all this time. I should be preparing for Dominaria, because you know what's going to happen is the Phyrexians are going to come back. Right? They're going to come. So what he does is he goes off and he says, I'm going to fight them tooth and nail. And he creates the Talarian Academy. Now, you can see it here, sorry. This academy, guys, that you see on the screen right there, only the best and brightest students went there. We're talking the best wizards, artisans, artificers, botanists, scientists. They all went here to learn and to power themselves together to create. So Talaria is the island they're on, but the academy was built on that island. That's why I showed the two pictures from Legends and, of course, from Urza's Saga. So on this island, they all get together and they think, oh, we can create these amazing things. But Urza's still thinking about his brother at this point, right? He's still kind of guilt-ridden and he still wants to find a way. So not only is he trying to beat the Phyrexians, he's trying to find a way to bring his brother back before this. So he creates a time machine, a literal time machine. And he figures with this time machine, he can go back, find his brother, pull him forward before all this evil stuff happened to him. And in the process of using this time machine, which now he sees what happened to the Thran Empire. He's going so far back, he sees what happened to the Thran. He knows how their empire ended. He knows the first battle against the Phyrexians. He knows that him and his brother pulling the stones apart caused everything to happen. Okay? But as this is happening, that pops in a little bit early. What ends up happening... Oh, am I in wrong order? Oh, I'm so sorry. Wrong order. So, he decides to create a helper. You see up there? See there? His helper is Karn, a golem. He takes this golem, and he gives it Exitcha's heart. And when he gives her heart, it brings him to life. Because it's a piece of Phyrexia, right? She's actually a mechanical being. Now, he uses this to power the time machine. Because Karn, being a golem, not human, should be able to go through the rifts to learn the stuff they need to learn and get things done. But on its first trial, the machine ends in failure, causes a temporal rift and an explosion. Basically, the academy's blown to pieces, hundreds of people die, and others are just lost in these temporal rifts of time slowing and time speeding up. Some age instantly, some are lost in time frozen there. Teferi, anyone? So, at this point, though, although they've died, they're gone, they've learned from their mistake. Okay? So he learns that if he takes a wizard and he puts him in a slow rift, that reduces their aging. They can work on experiments for years before having to bring him out of the slow rift, bring him to a speed rift to speed up what they're trying to learn at the end after they've got all the materials they need. So he ends up learning how to use these small rifts on the island to create what he needs to create. To speed up, basically gaining 1,000 years knowledge instantaneously for all these people there. Crazy, right? Like, think about turning, I don't know what you call it, lemons into lemonade, like crazy. I didn't really realize that part until I read the stuff, but it's pretty easy, guys. Like, it's just amazing stuff. As you can tell, I'm pretty excited. So he takes this information, they prepare, okay? And at this point, though, what's happened is, this part here is there's a guy called Carrick. He's a Phyrexian agent. And what ended up happening with Carrick is he was caught in a time bubble that slowed him down. That's what you see there. And he comes out of the time bubble for some reason. And Baron, who's guarding the Talarian Academy and teaching everyone, tells Urza that they're being attacked. Urza comes back, defeats Carrick, basically wipes him out, and finishes building the legacy weapon. As you can tell, it's one of her color, and it removes permanence from the game, which is awesome. Now, we've talked about this last time and in other videos with Yawgmoth that it takes different pieces to create the legacy weapon. Okay, so you can see there, and we'll explain that in a second, that you see Karn, you see Urza, you see the stones on the side, right? All right, now, what ends up happening? The big battle finally comes. You can see it's all right there. They're duking it out. The Phyrexians attack through Wrath, an artificial plane that Yawgmoth has created. Little did he know, Urza was using that plane as well, by the way, to create counter Phyrexians. Okay? So Dominaria is fighting. And what happens is, as this big battle is going on, the Phyrexians are fighting on Dominaria. Urza's real plan is to take 9 planeswalkers in super powered suit of armors that are charged with like these crystals, right? Thran technology, and they go and basically wipe out Phyrexia from the inside out. So what happens though, as they're doing this, Tevesh Savat, who's coming up in Commander Legends, right? He's coming up in Legends. He betrays them, okay? He kills a couple of them, and that convinces Urza, which he knew Tevesh would do all along, convinced him of his plan to use Tevesh to blow things up, which is horrible. So what Urza had to do was to save Dominaria, he had to collapse Serra's realm. Now, we ask why he collapsed Serra's realm. Upon finding out from other refugees, Serra's realm was invaded by the Phyrexians looking for Urza. And it was corrupted. The white mana became corrupted with black, and Serra had to leave. She left the Radiant Archangel to fight. She got manipulated too, and basically she's wiping out the humans there. So Urza goes there, saves as many as he can, kills Radiant, the Archangel, and then collapses the plane to give the power he needs for these suits of armor to have soul bombs to blow everything up, which is amazing. Now, at this point, Yawgmoth finds out his world's being like destroyed. He's by himself there. He captures Urza, as well as the captain of the ship, Gerard. They're forced to fight each other. Now, Yawgmoth somehow takes away Urza's planeswalking powers. He can't escape, he can't cast spells. They gotta fight mano a mano, okay? The first time, Urza wins, but Yawgmoth resets it, they go again, and Gerard wins, and he cuts off Urza's head. Decapitates him. But Urza said, this is very inconvenient. As I told you guys before, you can't kill a planeswalker that way. So Urza's alive. Gerard snaps out of it. They grab Urza's head. Not the body, but they grab his head, and they escape back through the portal. Now remember, it's pre-mending. This can't kill him. So, they combine all the things like a legacy weapon, which is Urza's Spark, the Soul Stones in his eyes, which is the Might Stone and the Weak Stone. Those 2 brothers are originally found. They took Urza, his body, with the collapsed power of Serra's realm that had powered the gems. And, of course, all together, the legacy weapon. Pure white mana comes out as Yawgmoth's coming to attack the people of Dominaria. He is destroyed in an instant. And Urza saves the day. But get this. In doing so, Urza killed himself. And what was left of his spark, along with the collapsed power of Serra's realm, it ignites a spark inside of Karn. So Karn the Planeswalker is a result of what's left of the legacy weapon, Xchata's heart, and Urza. So now you know why Karn is how he is. That's why he's a Planeswalker. But not only that, he's actually, I guess technically, a very powerful Planeswalker. Even if he doesn't know how to use all of his powers, he's like immensely powerful, which is so cool. Because we don't really see him do it, do we? We see him exile some stuff in some of the games, but they don't talk about how truly powerful Karn is, because he doesn't seem interested in manipulating his power that way, right? Where Urza was willing to go to great lengths to eliminate things. Now, the last little image I want to show you guys here is just some images of Urza. So you see Urza, Academy Headmaster. You notice there's no body. That's his head. He's the headmaster. When you see him as a blind seer, that's when he was trying to help the Weatherlight crew. And the last picture is Gerard about to cut off his head, which is horrible, I realize. So, that is the end of our history on Urza and how great he is and why he's such an integral part of Magic's history. It spans its entire history. There's still comments about him now, right? So we're all still, it's like building a history of movies and comics, right? Characters like this go on and on until eventually, hey, maybe 20 years from now we got a movie about him. Who knows? But you can see the history gets built as you go. And it's an amazing history, and I thank you all for tuning in. This is MTG Moxman. Thanks a lot, guys. This will be joined to my lore videos in the section of my channel page in case you guys want to catch up on everything. Thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed it. Please leave some comments below. Let me know what you thought. Have a great night tonight. MTG Moxman. See you soon. Special thank you to all my patrons who support me and make these videos possible. This lore video is brought to you by all the patrons you see inside this board. Thank you so much, guys. It's awesome, and thank you for allowing me to do it for you. Have a great night.